Don't forget, we're going to be in Dubai later this year, and we'll be back in Vegas March next year. You know the gentleman to get a hold of for that. Coming up to the stage, our moderator is Susan Elizabeth Huber. She's the CEO and founder of Susan Elizabeth Coaching. Come on to the stage, Susan. Joining her today, you met him before, is Aminé Jetty. He's change management and digital transformation coach, Silver Polymer. And Nancy Gunter, SPHR, SHRM, SCP executive coach and HR consultant. Today, our panel discussion involves finding balance in the chaos, a guide to thriving mentally in marketing. Take it away, folks.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Great. I'm going to get started. Thanks for joining us here today, everybody. I know this is day 3 of the conference. It's been a lot, and we've had a lot of learning. We've had a lot of networking. We've had a lot of growth opportunities and a lot of connections. So really honored to be here today. Welcome all of you. We're going to be talking about chaos, and that's something that really affects all of us, and there's a lot of stress related to that. So the 3 of us are going to be sharing our different approaches to this topic. And without further ado, I'd like to turn it over and have each of the panelists introduce themselves. So first, Amin, please tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Susan. That's how it works. Thank you so much to be here with us. So Amin Jeddi, I'm a consultant, change management consultant, and I'm also an organization development coach. So this is what I do in organization is to manage chaos, to manage the hard situation. So if they call me and if they will pay me, that we have a big hard situation that I will go and try to resolve it. So this is it. I have 2 companies. The first one is called Silver Polymer. It's on the industry. We produce the woven bags in North Africa for a lot of customers, a lot of clients, and all over the world, in like Qatar, Emirates, Dubai, United States, Canada. And I have also another company, and it's called Ultimate Solutions, and it's about consulting services and digital transformation, besides the change management, crisis management also. Thank you.
Nancy, take it away.
All right. My name is Nancy Gunter. I am the CEO of Gunter Training, Consulting, and Coaching. I am an executive coach and also work in the training and development space. I've been in that space for about 35 years. I specialize in an area called positive intelligence and mental fitness, which is sort of what's going to connect to what we're talking about today. Mental fitness, just in general, is your ability to deal with life circumstances from a positive rather than negative mindset. And so some of the information that I want to share with you today has to do with that. And I know you've heard a ton of different speakers on panels, so I want to tell you one unique thing about me, just in case it helps you remember, like, what this face is and what exactly did that person say. So one unique thing about me, I actually do triathlons. I do sprint, Olympic, and half Ironman triathlons. And what exactly does that have to do with mental fitness? It is extremely important that when you're in a triathlon and you have a flat, that you don't get stressed out or frustrated, that you just stay mentally fit, stay present. It's chaotic. It is everything that you can imagine. Just change the tire and then get back on your bike and keep going. Same thing if you jump into 58-degree temperature water. Don't stress, don't panic. It's okay. You will eventually be able to breathe and then swim. It's just that simple. So that's sort of the direction that I come from. That's one unique thing about me. So maybe you can remember this face. Okay.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm Susan Elizabeth, and I'm the CEO and founder of my company, Susan Elizabeth Coaching. And I've also had over 33 years in the corporate world, know a lot about chaos, thriving in the chaos and finding balance. And coming out of that, it was a male-dominated environment, very fast-paced, global Fortune 500 company. I was an executive in it for over 20 years, so it was quite a journey. And now I've retired out of that this past summer, actually, and now I'm focusing on my coaching business full-time. So I'm really finding a way to serve and give back and do a lot of coaching with my clients around anything that they come to me with. But I think chaos and finding balance in chaos is something really unique that affects all of us. So let's talk some more about that today. I have a couple questions for Nancy and Amin. So first question, Nancy. How do you see positive intelligence or mental fitness playing a role in helping marketing professionals thrive mentally?
Yeah, so one thing that we probably all know is that we sabotage ourselves to a certain extent. Many of the things that we do, especially when we get stressed or overwhelmed, are being driven by actions that we're taking. So sometimes it is we judge ourselves. The panel that was up here just before lunch was actually talking about the imposter syndrome and how we judge ourselves really in that moment to say, I don't know if I'm really like worthy. Am I worthy of being up here? I don't really know. So when we can recognize what we're doing, then we have an opportunity to change it. But if we can't recognize what we're doing, then really, we get left out of a lot of opportunity to adjust or change. So, positive intelligence specifically is about, recognizing what these saboteurs are and then changing our reaction to it. But, to be mentally fit and to thrive in chaos involves more than that, but it does definitely involve some of that as well.
I think you make a really good point, because the first step is always awareness, because without awareness, we're doing things on replay every day. And I think with awareness, then you can take action or not. And then from there, because of that awareness, that's when you can get that transformation or that forward movement towards something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your choice whether you take action or not. Like, as long as you can see it, you can choose. What do you want to do about it?
So Nancy, give us a couple of things, maybe some tips or some guidance on how you can take some of these steps.
Yeah, so one thing, I guess, in positive intelligence, one thing that you learn is it's a thing called PQ reps, positive quotient reps. This is a mindfulness type tactic, but you don't have to have a special room or special music or a certain period of time in order to do it. It's really about coming to the present moment. And this can be true in any kind of situation where you find yourself in chaos, a lot of things happening, stressed out, frustrated about something. Anytime you find yourself in a position like that, I guess one takeaway, if you can take it out today, one takeaway is take a breath, come to the present moment. Now, one thing that'll bring you to the present moment, there's one of the exercises I particularly like, which is listening for the farthest away sound that you can hear. When you do that, you are simply focused on right now. There's nothing else that matters. I'm trying to figure out, where was that sound? How far away was that sound? So everything that had been happening goes into the past, and you come to the present moment. That then gives you the choice. That's when you can choose, okay, that was happening. I can go back there, or I can choose to do something different.
I love how you said that, because with my experience and with coaching clients, there is so much power in the present moment. And that's where your true power resides, because you're not looking to the future and trying to think ahead. When you're living the moment and you're in the moment, you can choose with awareness to respond consciously instead of reacting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amin, question for you. So in your opinion, how can organizations today deal with chaotic situations? And then second question tied to that, what role do leaders play in this?
Thank you for the two questions. So I will speak about an organization perspective, how we do an organization, like strategic, what we do in this type of the problematic. But first of all, let's redefine what type of problematic we can see in organization today. So before speaking about chaos, we have 4 types of difficult situation. The first one, we call that the simple situation. Like when we see in a lot of organizations, for example, I will give you an example, Windows updating. This is a simple situation of problematic that we can live. Second, when we speak about the complicated problem, and here we can speak about replacing Microsoft Skype with Microsoft Teams. Third type, it's the complex situation. And now we speak about, for example, ERP migration or adoption. And the fourth type, the last type, it's called the chaotic problem. And here I will give you a simple example, and it will be the pandemic. So today we'll choose the chaotic, and this is the most difficult and the most dangerous situation that an organization can live, because we don't know the parameter, we don't know what we are facing, we don't know how to deal with the chaotic problem. So this is why there is a strategy called VUCA strategy, VUCA word. We use it a lot in the organization and in the strategic department to know how to deal with a problem that we don't know it, the unknown enemy. And what is the VUCA? It's strategy deployed by the US Army in the early 1990, so 1990, and it was in the war against Afghanistan, because they didn't know what is look like the enemy. So with this strategy VUCA, we can identify the enemy, and this problem, it's an enemy. So what is the VUCA? It's the word which based on volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. When we use these factors, we can identify how can we react with these type of problems. And just to tell you another information, that this is a responsive strategy. Like the US Army, it was responsive. Why responsive? Not reactive. Responsive, that's meaning that I will try, I will experiment, I will evaluate, I will try to have control, and I will try to adjust. And this is what we do in organization today with the agile and with the methodology that we have. We don't know the enemy, we don't know the environment, we don't know the climate, but we will try to take some small steps and take another small steps and adjust. So leadership, it's very important in this kind of situation, because we will inspire, we will influence, we will give the good example. I will give you a lot of activity that we can do, but in finding the balance. But in this first step, in European, in Canada, in Africa, in a lot of countries, the same approach to identify the problem, to anticipate the risk, to identify also the impact. So we do this a lot in managerial and management consulting, especially in the crisis management or in the change management.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. I have so much on my list that I have to get all of this stuff done. I mean, I've got my family, I've got my career, I've got my business, I've got, my parent, I've got so much, I've got all these errands to run, and I just can't seem to keep up with it. So when you hear that, of course, and when you think that, of course you're going to be overwhelmed. Of course you're going to have chaos. Of course you're going to have stress. And one of the things that I like to help clients understand is that your thoughts create your emotions, which create your actions. Now, that was life-changing for me, because I used to live in a state of chaos and overwhelm, and I always really struggled to find balance and harmony in my life, as do many of my clients. So when I finally understood that I could choose a new thought, one that much better served me, things like, instead of I have to, things like I get to. And instead of I should, and stop shoulding all over, I should, it's like, well, I could, or I can, or I get to. And so when you can choose a new thought, because your thoughts are really freaking powerful, like so powerful, these will drive your whole life tied with your belief system. When you choose a new thought, that automatically is going to set you up to have an emotion. And all emotions are one word. And then your actions are going to be results. So instead of like, I'm so overwhelmed, it's like, today, I'm speaking. I'm going to take a flight tomorrow. I've got networking to do. I've got emails. I've got clients to prepare for. I have this amazing, full, rich life. And I choose and I get to do all of this. And what I do, if I don't want to do this, I will choose something different. That feels so much better. And then my resulting emotion is one of excitement, adventure, appreciation. I have a whole different resulting emotions tied to that. And then my actions, I'm going to be more calm. I'm going to be more relaxed. I'm going to sleep better. Whatever those action outcomes are, that is going to be my result. because I found balance in the chaos through my mindset. And mindset is so powerful.
So I don't have the questions, so I don't know what the question was that I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you a question, so it might catch you off guard.
Please.
How do you move your clients from where they are to what you're describing?
Love that question. I think first it starts with awareness, and then it starts with, like we were talking about, is being present in the moment. And then when you catch yourself, because we're all in the rat race, like every single one of us experiences stress. It's how you respond consciously to stress. It's realizing, oh my gosh, I'm just shoulding right now. I'm busy. It's like, no, hold on a second. Let's choose a new thought, one that better serves me. So then, okay, all right, I'm choosing a new thought. So it's awareness, and it's catching yourself in the moment, and then it's practicing that. And you don't get it right away. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And then with time, it's like working out. It's like exercising a muscle. You start growing that, and it becomes a strength, and it becomes actually a superpower when you can do that. So it's like the triggers, they're not there that much anymore because, you exercise your mindset. And again, mindset is so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, I like what you say about the practice. So, and you probably know this better than I do, but change, 10%, 20% of change, successful change, comes from insight. So what you hear, what you're hearing us say up here, but 80% of successful change comes from you actually putting it into practice. So you choosing, one thing that one of us says up here, or one thing that you've heard, and then you put it into practice. That's where the change actually occurs. Is that? I'll throw that to you, change expert.
Just to tell you something, I'm here from the first day, and this is the last day, and I was like attempted a lot of conference here, but just what I wrote on my note that we use change, the word change, more than 125 times. To know the importance of the word, what we are living today. Just what are you saying is perfectly, I agree with you.
I have nothing profound to say after that. It's good.
Question for anybody sitting here in the room. How many of you are comfortable with change? Like truly, honest to goodness, comfortable. That's quite a number of hands. Good for you. Good for you. One of the things with change and the chaos in there and being comfortable with that uncertainty is there's tremendous power in the creativity when you are comfortable with change and uncertainty, and there's the chaos that comes with that. And when you become comfortable with that, your creativity skyrockets. You can actually become more successful, more fulfilled, and more balanced.
Just I want to add something here. In organization, we do a lot of change management, and we manage the reaction of people and employees in organization. So we speak a lot about resistance to change. This is something that I hate a lot because I work a lot with the positive psychology. So it's normally that people, they will react to the uncertainty. Normally that people, they will not like something they don't understand. So here organization should show the importance of change, the direction, destination, what we will do, why we are changing, giving meaning to the history, like these people and employees will understand. Even if you don't like it, you will understand it. You will know the impact, why you should do it, why you should move on this direction. And this is one of the most part pieces that they are so difficult in organization because human being, it's always about human being. And I love so much what you are said about the mental and the mindset. And I will give you, after 12 years of change management experience, I will tell you that for me, the biggest change that we are living today is the mental change. It's the mindset transformation. I will give you an example. If I give you the perfect tools, the perfect technology to work with, you cannot work with. I can give you, and I do a big investment, and I buy the new tools, the new technology. But when users don't use it or don't do it correctly, it was a failure change. So the change today, it's the mindset transformation. So it's human being with technology, not a human being or technology. And this is what we are living in organization and enterprise today.
I love what you said, Amin, about why, and really describing and sharing with people, you know, when you're doing something new, especially, like to explain, you know, why are we doing this, or what is this about, like why. That's huge, because that's the communication piece of it that I think so many companies maybe don't do really well.
I'm totally agree with you. Speaking about finding balance now, communication. So 3-4 simple activity that we do in organization today to lead change or transformation or project is communicate, and communicate. Not just communicate face to face or coming. No. It's to use all the channels that we have today to give perfect message. We said that message with impact to awareness, and we can do it with creating a network of ambassador, a network of agent, change agent. It's not like just a simple email that you will send it. You will not succeed like this. You should create a network of leaders, community. So this one of activity that we can do. Also, training and empowerment of your employees to survive to this change, because you know, just implementing a new technology, it can be chaotic for organization. Huh? It can be very difficult. So you should empower, do a lot of continuous learning and a lot of training. You should really feel your employees, feel your team, feel your organization, give the best culture, the collaboration culture, the empathy. You should feel, and this is a sample activity, but they give results. It's not like a magic recipe we will do, I don't know, something unbelievable. No, it's simple. Keep it simple, keep it realistic, and you will learn after. So this is just to tell you that we can lead change, but we should be like solid. We should have strategy. We should have a lot of activity that we should do, and we should take care of our human being.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, well, I was going to take us back just a little bit. So we're talking about change. We're talking about, you know, how do you get from where you are now to where you want to be from a, you know, thriving mentally kind of standpoint. So I want to ask y'all a question, and I can't really see anybody over here or anybody over here. So I can only see y'all in the middle. So sorry, y'all are the ones I'm looking at. I would like for you actually, by standing up or sitting down, I'm going to give you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rank on this? So the question is, how do you deal with stress, personally or professionally? All right, so however you define stress. A 1 is, I'm never stressed. I'm great. It's all good. A 10 is, I am stressed all the time. I deal with stress on a consistent basis, constantly stressed. Like every day, I live in stress. So this could be one way that we define chaos, right? How do we live in chaos? All right, so by standing up, I want to see what your number is. So if you were 3 or below on this question, how do you deal with stress? If you will, stand up. Okay, no 3s or belows. Oh, yeah, okay, 1, good.
You
excellent.
are so brave and courageous.
Thank you for being brave.
You for your honesty.
Good job. All right.
I can relate to you, by the way.
All right, if you are between 4 and 6, stand up. Between 4 and 6. Okay. All right, that's good. All right, now, the really brave ones, you're a 7 or higher. How you deal with stress? Okay, there you go. You guys are the ones that are really living in chaos as it relates to stress. All right, I want to ask you one other question. We're not standing up, clearly. We're not standing up. I want to ask you one other question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you wake up at night either worried about what's coming up or thinking about the things that are in the past? right? So you're waking up in the middle of the night concerned about something, either in the future or in the past. A 1 is, yeah, sleep like a baby. I got no problems. A 10 is, I feel like I wake up every single night. I'm stressed about something. I am worried about something in the future or in the past. All right, so again, if you had a 3 or below, so you're the ones that sleep like a baby. Okay.
I am so
All
jealous.
right, fantastic.
of
We need
baby
to
here.
we need to take lessons
need
from you
secrets.
guys. All right, 4 to 7. Sorry, 4 to 6. 4 to 6. Okay. All right. All right, good. All right, and now those of you 7 and above. Yeah.
Clearly.
She gives us a
7
good
and
example.
above, I
Yes,
recommend
that's why she
melatonin.
does
10 over here, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just like an idea. What is chaos? How do we thrive mentally in chaos? How do we get from I am waking up every night worried about something in the future or in the past? If I can, I want to connect just a little brain science to this. So there is research that shows, like within our brain, our neurons are wired a certain way, which leads us to behaviors that sabotage us. And this waking up in the middle of the night or being stressed or anything like that, all of this is actually connected to, like there's brain science that shows you're actually doing something that's creating some of your stress. Now, not all of it. There's other people that are involved in that as well. But there's some of it that you're actually creating for yourself. So how do you thrive mentally? It's a lot of what we've talked about related to change and the behaviors, like choosing certain behaviors that you're going to be consistent with shifting. So if you think about sleeping is actually really important for those of us that don't get a lot of sleep. It's very important that we get sleep so that we can thrive the next day. So I would give you, again, one takeaway to walk out of here with, which is when you wake up in the middle of the night, do some kind of mental exercise that brings you to the present moment. Your stress, again, brain research shows you can't be stressed, literally, research, this is not me, research shows you can't be stressed in the present moment. Your stress occurs when you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past. So if you're going to change, we've got to come to the present moment. That can be a behavior that you change when you walk out of here today. Come to the present moment in order to begin to shift and get into a better place mentally.
One of the things I heard, Nancy, was breathing. Just in the middle of the night, I know I wake up a lot, and I think I was just, and then the monkey mind will come in, and I'm thinking about the past, maybe thinking about the future, and then I'm like, okay, I just need to go back to sleep now. But breathing. What do you think about breathing to get yourself presenced in the moment?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think breathing is one of the things that does bring you to the present moment. If you're concentrating, if you're thinking about, okay, feel your chest or your stomach rising, so you're focused on that. You're thinking about one that I find interesting is the temperature of the air as you breathe in through your nose and the temperature of the air as you breathe out. If you've never paid attention to that, that's actually sort of interesting. It's different. It's a different temperature coming in and going out. But yeah, I agree.
It's funny, I think with breathing too, it's like I'm breathing in and I'm releasing like all the toxins or the negative thoughts and breathing in the positive and maybe affirmations. Yeah, and it just feels better.
Just to add something, we are speaking about behavior here. And we must know that today the big change, it's called in organization, behavior modernization. So we don't speak about change management project. We speak about behavior modernization. And this is technology what gives us today. Because, you use, I don't know, for example, you use some technology. But now you should use it differently. So this is why we call it modern behavior modernization, and they are a typical project that we call them also user adoption project. So always I want to add this organization perspective because you are very, very, very good at what you are speaking, what are you saying now. But just I want to add this organization perspective, how to breathe an organization. Yes, I know that we must breathe very good, but organization, how to breathe. So this is it.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And that's what I love about, we come from such different perspectives and backgrounds, but then when you bring it together as a collective,
Do you want partner in your coaching enterprise?
we could do that. Let's talk. Okay, question for you, Amin. How can change management, organizational and personal, and technology help to better manage moments of chaos and finding balance?
Yes, we'll take the pandemic situation. We work remotely, we work from home, we work, enterprise don't pay the rent, so it's more money for them. But when you use correctly technology, it can help you to better manage change or transformation situation. So we take, for example, the pandemic. We work from home, but we are efficient. We are more productive. I don't know, it was in New Zealand or in another country, they opt for 3 days working in the week. So just to know that there is another business model emerge, and we should know that technology today help us to better manage this situation, how to communicate, how to collaborate. So I can be at home, you can be at home, but we can use technology and we can be more productive and more collaborative than just working on the physically on the space working and the locals. So there is a lot of experiences, but what should we know that the culture of the organization must play the role here. So if I give you a lot of technology of collaboration, but I don't teach you how to collaborate, how to behave, and how to do this, you will not collaborate even I give you the best tools. So it is always about mental, about the mindset, about the attitude, about the comportment, and after that, we will do the other things, the process things. So the human being, it will be always the priority.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Amin. Nancy, question for you. How is a team's culture, if chaotic and stressful, impacted through positive intelligence or mental fitness?
Yeah, so I think each of us are a member of a team. So if we are struggling mentally, so not necessarily mental health as we might describe that, but just we're just struggling. We're stressed or anything, frustrated, have anxiety. We feel guilty. We're blaming maybe somebody in our culture. We're all members of a team. So if each of us are bringing that with us, then the team as a whole becomes somewhat dysfunctional. If we can come into our team and be a member of our team through support, even in the chaos, even in the stress, even in the frustration. So another member of the team frustrates me. If you can understand what is driving them, what is the roadblock that they're actually having to overcome, it helps us be a better team member and to a certain extent collaborator with our teammates, right? So if we can understand what we're bringing into the picture, that's one thing. Whenever we can start to understand what other people are bringing into the picture with us, that's when the team can begin to change and the culture can become still chaotic, but the way you deal with it becomes different. The way you deal with the stress. So the stress is going to be there. There's an analogy called the hand on the hot stove. So when the stress is there and your hand goes down onto the hot stove, somebody says something, you're frustrated by it, your hand goes down onto the hot stove. How long you leave it there determines how much you get burned. So if you continue to leave your hand on the hot stove and you're still mad, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're thinking, how in the world could they have done that? Or anything along those lines. Your hand stays on that hot stove that whole time. It's burning. Nobody else is being injured by that except you. At the point when you can say, all right, I'm going to take my hand off of the hot stove, that's when you can choose a different response, just like we've been talking about. So if you bring that mentality into a team and all of the team members do, then everything begins to change and the way you deal with the hand on the hot stove becomes different.
Do you ever find that there are just people that love chaos? They thrive on it. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. It's a high, it's like they're getting some kind of joy or fulfillment out of it. Let's talk about that one.
Me, the first one, I love chaos. You know why? Because if there is no chaos, I don't work. I need chaos in my
I love it.
I need chaos in my professional life. I was kidding, but we try to minimize the impact of the chaos, and we try to help organization to deal with chaos. I want to say just that it's mentally. Even in organization, when you come to organization to do the diagnostic or the analyze the problem, if the CEO or if the high direction don't see the same problem like I see it, it will be continue to be chaotic. Because I live it in a lot of situation. I come and I do my analyze, and I say that we have this problem, this problem, this problem, and we must do this and this and this. The chief or the owner don't see like you. No, it's not chaotic like this. No. It's simple. We can do this and this. No. We must be realistic, and we must say the true things to better identify the problem and to better find solution. We cannot find solution to another problem that we don't see. So we must be always realistic and do the true things.
I'm just thinking of when I had some teams of people reporting to me and they just lived, we were in a chaos culture and they lived in chaos and they thrived in chaos. And I'm thinking, man, let's get you off the chaos hamster wheel and let's find you a new way to get that feeling that you're after, that feeling of achievement, the feeling of whatever that is. How do you move people, from that chaos to find balance in chaos, but find it another way to get that satisfaction? That's an interesting one.
I don't know if my answer is completely directed at that question, but I haven't been in the mental fitness realm my whole career. I worked for the YMCA for 35 years, and there was a tremendous amount of chaos, and there were a lot of people. They didn't say it the same way. They didn't say, I thrive in chaos, and they weren't doing what you do. So they didn't say that, but what they did say was, I do better work at the last minute. And at that point, I really didn't have a response to that. My anxiety was going up as they waited to the last minute, and they felt like they did better work at the last minute. Today, it's that's a sabotage movement of where we actually sabotage ourselves in that moment because we think we do better work, but it's only because we're avoiding doing it until the last minute. And then we have to do whatever the work is in that moment. So, yeah.
Firefighting. Yeah. That's firefighting. It's so interesting. I think I wanted to just add finding balance in chaos. A couple things that I have experienced, or some of my previous teams or some of my clients, to find the balance in chaos, I think you have to have bold boundaries. And bold boundaries are, there's always going to be chaos going on in the world. And that could be as simple as, I am not watching the news. I am not going to turn on the television. I'm going to scroll through an app and maybe get the highlights. There's many different ways to turn down or turn off the chaos and not participate in the chaos, because it's a choice of how you respond or participate in the chaos. And if you really want balance, you're going to find ways to do it. So I think, turning off the TV is one thing, but having boundaries, bold boundaries, so you can say no to, whatever's going on. And that could be a person who's coming at you, and they're whatever they're going on about. And it takes two to have an argument. And so it could be as simple as walking away, having a boundary, communicating in the moment, whatever that is, and not participating in that. And having bold boundaries, you can say no to that, so you're saying yes to yourself, so you can have that peace and the relief or the stress-free moments within that chaos. Are there any other things that you can recommend that would be good tips or guidance for finding that balance in the chaos?
I will let you because it will be personal things. After that, I will speak about organization and tips for organization.
Yeah, okay. So one other thing that I might offer as you get ready to leave this conference is there's an analogy of surfing. So you can't control the wind and waves. You can't control what's going to be coming at you, but you can learn to become a really good surfer. So you can surf over those wind and waves by, removing your hand from the hot stove, by setting the boundaries, by taking deep breaths, by, coming to the present moment. There's a lot of different things you can do in order to become a good surfer, but you're not ever going to really be able to control the wind and the waves.
So, in organization, we should manage emotions because we are working with human being. How to manage emotion is to create confidence. How to create confidence? When we have this culture based on transparency, based on sharing, based on respect, based on leadership. Leadership, it's not like just I'm the CEO, I must be the leader, or I'm the director, I must be a leader. Everyone have to be a leader in society or an organization. So I can be a sample operator, but I have this type of leadership that I should do. So when we have all these factors, all these elements, the level of confidence, it will be high. When we have this good level of confidence, we can manage this situation. Because at the end of the day, the question is how to manage this difficult situation. So a lot of activity that organization should do to minimize this level of panic and have this good level of confidence. And you should don't forget that it's community. You will find someone who is so scared. You will find someone who is have this big confidence. So this is not just a personal. It's a community. It's associated. It's collective. So you will always treat it like population. It's some kind of population organization also. So we do a lot of this. We communicate. We do a lot of communication, and we create, especially this network, this community of leadership. It's really it's magic in society and organization. So this is it.
Thank you, Amin. Can I share a story? Yeah. Thinking back over the years in my corporate career, and then I was running my coaching business and nights and weekends. And going through COVID and, a lot of chaos and, finding balance there. And just decades of working. And I was always working really hard because that's what you do. You achieve, you drive, you deliver, slaying all the goals. I was crushing multi-million-dollar deals. And and I was a part of the chaos. And I was chaos. And it was just going on, but I was trying to find my way, like surfing that wave of chaos while being a part of the wave, on top of the wave with chaos. And it's like going, and realizing, like, I have stage 3 adrenal burnout. I have hormone hell going on. I'm exhausted. I have insomnia. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd have monkey mind coming in. And I, had thyroid issues and, my gut issues. And because I was going for so many years in this state of being where I was a human doing and not a human being. And it's like, oh my gosh, how can I serve? How can I be the best person? How do I, and I'm being coached and I'm doing my personal development, but yet I'm still struggling to find that balance. And then it's finally like, almost having a breakdown to have a breakthrough. Like, I have got to find a better way to do this, to be a better leader, to be a better wife, to be a better family member, to be a better human being, to be a better woman, so I can feel more fulfilled and joyful, because I was so unfulfilled and so unhappy and living not in balance. And this chaos is going in the world, and the chaos was going in our corporation, and chaos is going in as I'm starting my company and building that. So exhausted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, mindset, Susan. Choose a better thought. Okay, so addressing all of these things, and it took time, and I went after it, really working on the mindset, working on detoxing out, old things, doing healing, tremendous healing sessions on myself, really kind of coming forward and, balancing certain things in my body that were out of balance, and as a woman, and, just a lot going on. And then I finally remember a couple years ago, kind of coming to the place where I'm like, okay, I'm getting this under control. I'm feeling better. I'm having more energy. I'm sleeping better. Long story short, what are some of the things that happened? I think it's mindset. Mindset is a huge thing. And also working on some of the healing things that I needed to do to heal in my life on all levels. But then also, I think some of the tactical things that I learned that could be really helpful for anybody who maybe doesn't do this yet is design yourself into your day. And I, like, as a woman, like, I was always going out doing, very much in my masculine, was very developed in my corporate career because that was what was rewarded. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what was out. That's the way the system works. So I finally came back to myself as a woman, and I'm like, space, time, intuition, creativity. And so I learned this really cool trick of not only creating a meeting, but putting the outcome of the meeting on the calendar so I could have shorter meetings, because who's ever been in meetings where people just want to share a voice and it's like, okay, let's just get to the outcome. Like, what does my team need to do? What do we need to gather together? And what do we need to deliver as a result coming out of this meeting so it's efficient, it's focused, and I feel really good about it, and so does my team. And then putting myself on my calendar every single week, every single morning, I would design my day, and I would put myself on my calendar, and if I didn't put a private appointment, somebody would book over it. So I had all these private appointments on my calendar, half an hour here, an hour for lunch, hour for this, and then creative chunks of time. And then I was actually, I don't want to say working 25% less, working in a different way that was so much better. And that was my way to find balance when I had, these two careers going on in a full life. And it was such a successful outcome. What do you think of that? Do you do that? Does anybody else do that here?
I have done that in the past, and I was actually listening to you thinking, yeah, I need to do that again because I have chaos in my life as well. And, my practice of positive intelligence, my practice of mental fitness helps me each day in dealing with the chaos. But what you're talking about, I have back-to-back meetings all day, and it can create a lot of stress at the end of the day where I want to spend time with my family, and I don't have time to do that. And listening to you, I'm thinking, yeah, I probably need to, look a little bit farther into my calendar and schedule some time that's just going to be for me so that at night I can be with my family.
Truly. Amin, do you have anything else?
Like always in organization and corporate language, if the family, the organization, if they are mature enough, if they are charismatic enough, they can deal with this type of situation. We do a test in management. We call that organization maturity to know if the organization have a good note, 7 and 10, 6. So this note will help us to know what we should improve in the organization to be mature, because experience said to us that if we are mature, we know how to deal. If we have experience, we know how to deal with this type of situation. And also organization, go and search and look for other organization, how they did deal with this type of situation. So at the pandemic, there is a lot of organization, they will take initiative to do a lot of action, a plan action to know how to face this pandemic. So a lot of other companies, they do the same. Why? Because they saw that it was a perfect recipe, it was a perfect strategy. So we can also look in others what they did do to deal with this kind of situation. We will want sometimes, we will want also energy, and we will not look a lot around us. So this is another strategy that we do a lot.
Thank you, Amin. So just before we close and take a couple questions, just want to ask Amin and Nancy, any closing words, any last tips or guidance that you want to offer?
Feel an organization, feel your human being. They are really very important, and you cannot succeed without them. You cannot transform your organization or going to success without them. For me, what's successful look like is to well treat your people. This is, for me, the important thing that I must share it today, because I saw a lot of experience. I saw a lot of difficult problem in organization, and every time organization don't take care of their people, it was the chaos.
I love it because organizations are people. Without people, there would be no organization. You're so right.
Exactly.
Thank you, Amin. Nancy.
So the last thing that I would like to share is with Generation Z. So I do work with the generations as well, and I think you do also. But with Generation Z within the U.S., Generation Z has brought the verbiage of mental health to the workplace. And this is extremely important for that generation and for young millennials as well. And so our figuring this out, how to thrive mentally in chaos, is even more critical today than it was 20 or 30 years ago. The chaos was still here 20 or 30 years ago. It was just a little bit different. Today, the younger generation has to have assistance in figuring out how to deal with this. And this is not anybody's fault. It is, well, it might be the smartphone's fault, but it's we've got this all around us, and the younger generation is saying, "Hey, we need to talk about this." And so if we're missing that, then we're missing a lot of our people as well. And so, I'd like to leave you with, please pay attention to this. Pay attention to finding mental fitness for all of your employees. Not to necessarily push a program, but I did put some information on the tables. If you're interested in knowing more about the Positive Intelligence program, specifically mental fitness, that information is out there. But I would leave you with, the younger generations need this, and they need your help in finding solutions to this.
Thank you, Nancy. And I think I just want to close in saying that finding balance in chaos, the balance is so important to have, that your self-care and your priority to find that balance and to have that balance, you'll do anything if it's important to you. So for example, there's chaos going around, but chaos doesn't have a seat at my table. No way. It doesn't. It shows up, but I'm like, you don't get to have a seat here. And I think it's just really honoring that my worth and my peace and my balance is so important that I don't let anything get in the way of that now after living in chaos for decades. Super, super important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
have time for one good question for the panel. Anybody?
Yes, right here.
Change, or an organization through change, and one way to do that was to pour into your team and your employees. What are some ways that you do that tactically to make sure everybody's encouraged and supported, whether it be a big change or a change in project structure or whatever it may be?
I think you're directing that to Amin. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Perfect. Amin?
Thank you for the question. So, organization need to put the good tools to know how to manage change. So it can be like digital transformation, adoption of technology. It can be also organization vision, when organization buy another organization. This is also a big change because we have two culture. So there is no one successful recipe that we will do, but we should listen. We should know what is the preoccupation of our team, what they are need, what should we do to empower them, to be with them, to listen to them. So, it's not really a magic, but we should be with them. We should listen to them and help them, coach them, So there is a lot of things that we can do. So it will depend with the nature of the project, with the nature of the situation, with also the ampler of the situation. It is very dangerous, this change, or it is simple. So like we said at we began, simple, complicated, complex, chaotic, and after that we will take action and further to go and to succeed. And thank you for the question.
Great. Thank you, Amin. And thank you, Nancy. And thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciated having this opportunity to share some of our perspectives with you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. Any good pictures before you guys walk off stage? You got a good group picture? Thank you, panelists, for such an enlightening session.